Hey, thanks for coming to view my video. My name is Greg Winkler, and I am acting in opposition of debate number four in the sense that the state actors, the countries that make up international organizational agencies, they maintain the power. Hold on, let me make. They maintain the power and responsibility to determine their own legislation and act in accordance with their own national agendas rather than be under the delegation of other international agencies. And this is because of the problem that international organizations are already made up of national powers, national state actors. This is something that has been determined for years now with many international philosophical policies to address the fact that national state actors make the whole of international organizations. They actually wouldn't be possible without national organization, national state actors. Um, but the ultimate problem is that they are individual bodies, bodies of national states. So they make their own policies and policies that don't necessarily mesh or agree with other policies. Um, and it with the power shifted, the pendulum shifted towards larger international police agencies like China, United States, and Russia. The standing of international polities are really contingent on whether a large international power remains loyal to the pact. Of the biggest example could be found with the use of preemptive strikes against in the United States case against Iraq, in an Israeli case after the United States acted against Iraq as a preemptive measure. They did the same against the state of Gaza, utilizing satellite imagery to determine their actions. But this use of preemptive strike, there's no treaty, no terminology that it correlates with that at an international level or in any treaty language. But because the United States is the powerhouse that they get them a little bit more leeway and can act in accordance with their own national policy more than a third world country like Venezuela or Peru. They would be looked frowned upon and probably enforced by the United Nations with their own police agency. Um, and that's kind of the differential between different states is really the problem, because at an international level, having international organizations delegated upon by an equal footing with a platform for everyone to have the equal footing, that's an ideal situation. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily a realistic situation at an international level because the treaties that are associated with that if you break the treaty, international conflict will emerge between two nation states that are within the United Nations. But that, unfortunately, a breakage of the charter of a treaty itself will not be met with the threats that are promised in the treaty. That is because, like before, with the embodiment state actors have their own policy breaking system and their own rules and regulations. And if a nation goes against another nation and without direct correlation to a powerhouse nation, that's not going to be enough to set them on edge to have a correlated attack, a reconnaissance strike against an opposing nation, even if the peremptory norm is broken within the UN Charter. So you have the treaties being made up of individual state actors that determine their own policy, a treaty being broken and not having the direct appropriate response that would be correct to approach this issue. And now, with modern day issues with Russia and Ukraine, you have the economic incorporation of these international organizations that are meant to harbor peace, that are instead enabling um, countries from finding peace, as they are taken advantage of by bigger markets, Russia and China, United States, but Russia in this case, with 40% of European oil being, you know, imported by Russia, imported by United States from Russia. So because of their reliance on the Russian market, there are no ways to implement these financial sanctions that were supposed to be the economic incorporation downfall in case there was any diplomatic issues at hand. Instead, you have countries like England who are still unable to employ serious financial barriers against Russia. I mean, you see Germany too with their pipeline almost in fruition, canceling the landline between Germany and Russia and becoming more power independent. But there's still a massive dependency uh, in Europe that prevents countries from deterring Russia from invading Ukraine. That they're still able to invade Ukraine without any substantial repercussions because many countries in Europe rely on Russia and can't take charges against them in the way that they would like to. And with that, I appreciate y'all witnessing this and have a good day.